Hello viewer, we are glad to have you here with us on the Power Circuit. This program is specially packaged and brought to you by the Transmission Company of Nigeria (TCN) to keep you informed about activities in the Nigerian power sector. With you as always is Amara Agugesi, and here are the headlines of today's edition. Federal government building Kudenda power plants and substation to raise grid capacity, says Power Minister. TCN installs 2 transformers at Apapa Transmission Substation in Lagos as capacity source. Promoting gender action for advancing power engineering, an accolade for TCN. Still tied to women in engineering, the interview segment will feature the Executive Director, Independent System Operation, ISO at the Transmission Company of Nigeria (TCN), Engineer Nafisat Ali. She is at the head of it all at TCN when it comes to the excellent strides of female engineers. You will hear her speak about how TCN engineers are demonstrating zest in operating the vast national transmission system. In line with the policy of the federal government on incremental power, the Minister of Power, Chief Adebayo Adelabu, has inspected the 215 megawatts gas Kudenda power plant and the 2x60 MVA 132-33 kilovolts Kudenda transmission substation in Kaduna, being built to raise the capacity of the national grid. Here is the report.
The Minister of Power, Chief Adebayo Adelabu, at the power plant site was briefed by the contractors about the scope of the project and the challenges being encountered in its completion.
The contract was awarded several years ago, but was a little bit delayed because of the relocation. It was supposed to be sited in town, but because of future expansion and the gas trunk that is coming from Kogi to Kano to Niger, it was now conceived to be relocated down to this place. Sir? Yes, sir. So it comprises of 8 gas turbines, and the project as it stands is about 87-86% completed. The switchyard is in place, gas turbines are in place, the LPFO tanks are all in place.
The minister noted that aside from increasing generation capacity, the Kudenda substation would improve the quality of electricity weighed to the distribution companies by adding 215 megawatts of electricity to the grid.
For me to understand the second point, you must know that it's very important to us as the Ministry of Power and to the entire Nigerian populace, because we know that the level of power generation output in Nigeria today is still much below where we're supposed to be in the level of our population and economic activities. So whatever project that we see as low and road, we intend to bring it to conclusion as early as possible. And this project in particular is a project of the Federal Ministry of Power. So we're very much interested.
According to the briefing he received, the contract for the Kudenda power plant was awarded in 2009 to General Electric and Roxon Engineering for a dual thermal plant using low-pour fuel oil, LPFO, and natural gas. Addressing the press after the inspection, the minister said the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, has also completed the 2x60 MVA 132 33 kV Kudenda Power Transmission Substation and is ready to operate once the Kudenda Power Plant comes on stream.
And I'm actually impressed with the state of the infrastructure that we have here. It has 8 turbines, about 27 megawatts each. The generators are there with the turbines, and the transformers are there. You can see that the switchyard is also completed, while we also have a 132, 33 kV switchyard here. So I'm actually impressed, and I'm very optimistic that very soon this project will be completed and Nigerians will start enjoying the output of 215 megawatts of power that will be connected to the national grid.
Boosting capacity is a culture at the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN. Just recently, you heard how the company delivered power transformers and had them commissioned in various sites, including Abuja and Enugu State. Today, the transmission train has taken us to the 132-33 kV Apapa transmission substation in Lagos State, where 2 transformers have been installed. Come and have a view of this.
It was an avenue that stimulated excitement for the engineers of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, as 2 power transformers were delivered and installed at the 132-33 kV Apapa transmission substation in Lagos. The power circuit spoke with Engineer Ifeanyi Opute, the Apapa substation supervisor, who is also a senior manager system operations at TCN, and he has this to say.
We have 2 new transformers, 2x60 MV. In addition to the former 160 MV, so we have a capacity of 180 MV.
The capacity of the substation has significantly soared to a record level, and there is more bulk power availability to electricity consumers through the distribution load centers.
The former capacity is 160 MVA. With this new additional one, we can make it 180 MVA. The Papa GRA, Wharf, Ajegule, Mobile, Marine Bridge, Itakpeju, Tinkan Island.
The TCN engineers had mounted the first of the transformers and were deep into the installation of the second power transformer. All the transformers came with truckload of accessories and spare parts to ensure their smooth integration into the national grid. Apapa is known to be a hub for maritime activities that include the operations of the Nigerian Port Authority. These activities require huge power consumption, and so the management of TCN, in its culture of forecasting load demand, decided to immediately carry out the substation expansion and enhancement project.
The power circuit will be right here with you after this break.
The Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, transmits bulk electricity from power generating companies, GenCos, distribution load centers of distribution companies, DISCOs, nationwide. At TCN, we transport bulk electricity at very high voltage to DISCOs, who now off-take it and distributes it directly to electricity customers nationwide. TCN does not generate electricity. We transport the quantum of power generated to distribution load centers. TCN does not distribute electricity directly to electricity consumers. Our job stops where that of the DISCOs begin. TCN transmitting bulk electricity in the most efficient and effective manner.
In line with global gender and affirmative action, the Transmission Company of Nigeria (TCN) is promoting capacity building for women in power engineering. This report showcases the capability of women who manage various power transmission facilities in the Lagos region of TCN.
Engineer Odunsi Lydia has an engineering love story to tell as a principal manager system operations at the Alagbon substation in Lagos region of TCN.
Day of secondary school, I'm in love with mathematics. So coming to the higher secondary school, I find out that I have more interest in physics, which is the bedrock of physics, of engineering. So I'm in love with engineering. It's very interesting. I will choose engineering again and again and again.
She mentioned that although it's an interesting profession, women engineers often have challenges with their male counterparts. For this female engineer, ladies should aspire to go the engineering way.
The advice I have for them is that as I do talk to them whenever they come for training, that is IT or copper, I used to tell them that you have to work low, aspire to be at upper level. Don't relegate yourself for the first degree only. Aspire to move to acquire more knowledge. 1, 2, our ED today, EDISO. She's an engineer Mrs. Ali. So, and we have another one is our number 1 in Nigeria Society of Engineers. Now, we have her, she's a woman, first woman to be a president in Nigeria. So I'm very impressed that women, we are going up high.
She further explained the components of the Alagbon Transmission Substation's control room.
Alagbon is 330, 132 and 33. This is a pure transmission company. And in this, our office, this Alagbon, we have 330 lines. We have 132 lines and we have 33. So in this, our office, presently we have 1 by 300 MVA for 330. On the 330 level voltage, we have 300, but we are expecting another one.
At the 132 33 kV Ojo Transmission Substation in Lagos, another principal manager system operation, engineer Ogechi Onyishi, tells her story as an experienced engineer who loves to compete.
Well, I chose engineering course because it's challenging, such as I like it. You know, in engineering field, there are very few women in engineering field. So we do compete with men. So I like competition, being in the field of women, engineering. You will be outstanding as a woman because it's outstanding. There are still very few women in engineering. It's outstanding.
The Ojo Substation supervisor believes that there is no challenge that men can handle that female engineers cannot handle. She also urged young women to embrace engineering with passion.
There are some challenges like in all these our feeders. Sometimes you had explosion, but if you will be able to withstand it as a man, you are good to go. The advice I'm giving them is that let them not be scared. Let them not be scared in the field of engineering. What a man can do, a woman can equally do it. We'll compete with them. I will tell them that we are standing too.
Engineer Ogechi demonstrated to the Power Circuit team her core role in supervising a team of other engineers at the Ojo substation. Engineer Glory Emekenan is an Officer 1 Protection, Control and Metering at the Ojo substation in Lagos. She was inspired by her father to go for engineering profession.
First of all, it was because of my dad. My dad is into the engineering field, and aside that, I've always had passion for disrupting things and trying to find out how things are and then opening them and then fixing them back.
Engineer Glory takes her role seriously and describes what she does while on duty.
We are in charge of protections of transformers, of isolators and all. Then we also carry out preventive maintenance. That's, when you're trying to maintain to prevent a fault. Basically, we do that. We also troubleshoot to find out if there's a fault. Once there's a fault, troubleshoot to find out the cause and make sure that we resolve the issue. And then we also work with battery banks. We maintain the battery bank. That's the source of DC. Basically, that is all we do.
Like the other female engineers at TCN, Glory has some words for girls and women aspiring to go into the engineering profession.
If you've been looking forward or you want to become an engineer, I would say you should go for it. Don't give up. Focus on what you want to do. Learn more about the field and also just prove yourself, because as a female, sometimes you want to sideline you, but always be focused and always be willing to learn and better yourselves. And I feel that with all this, you become a perfect female engineer.
This is the interview segment of the Power Circuit. In the ongoing Executive Director's interview series, we have with us today the Executive Director, Independent System Operation ISO at the Transmission Company of Nigeria TCN, Engineer Nafisat Ali. Earlier in this edition, the female engineers at TCN proved their mettle. Engineer Nafisat speaks about the prowess TCN engineers have demonstrated while operating the transmission system over the years. You would love to hear her speak, won't you? What are the roles of independent system operation at TCN?
The Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, basically has two business units. The Transmission Service Provider, which is the TSP, and the Independent System Operator, which is the ISO. Each of the business units has its own license that authorizes it to perform its roles. So for the ISO, the key functions of ISO include real-time grid monitoring. We also do operational and expansion planning. Tariff administration is part of our responsibility. Market administration. Regional electricity market integration and collaboration. We do congestion management and other functions, but to put it in whole, I would say that the independent system operator is entrusted with the critical task of ensuring coordination, management and optimization of the grid resources.
What are the various departments you supervise?
These departments can be broadly categorized into two: the core departments and what I would call shared services. The shared services actually provide support services to the core departments. So under the core departments, we have the NCC, the National Control Center, system operations, we have the market operations, we have the system planning and development, and we also have the technical services department who take care of the SCADA and telecommunications. And for the shared services, we have quite a number of them. HR, finance, audit, legal, ICT, procurement, corporate planning, regulation, and maybe one or two others.
How would you describe your experience so far since you assumed office?
Before my appointment, I was the General Manager System Operations. So along the line, I had the privilege of covering the duties of the EDISO even at that time. So upon my appointment, I would say it's like transitioning smoothly. It was a smooth transition. It's been quite involving because the market is evolving. So, but it's quite interesting. It's an interesting journey, and of course, with the cooperation of the ISO staff and TCN generally, I think we're good to go. We thank God for that.
What is the most critical project your team is handling at the moment?
There are a number of projects, and I want to quickly say that every project is important because every project has its own place. Because for you to undertake a project, there must be a need for it. It's either you want to solve a problem or you have identified a certain gap somewhere, or you want to fulfill a legal or even regulatory requirement. So that makes a project important. However, the most critical project that is being handled in ISO now, for me, I would say, is the SCADA EMS project. And the SCADA system is a system that has the software and hardware components put together for grid monitoring and management. It's a tool for the system operator generally.
Most people seem lost when discussing issues of grid reliability. How can a layman understand this?
Grid reliability is simply ensuring adequate supply. So I would want to tie grid reliability to probability. What is the probability that you can supply the needs, the electricity needs? So grid reliability is centered around adequacy. Is it adequate? Can it withstand disturbances? What is the probability that if a source is lost, can you feed the needs of the people through another source? And can you withstand severe disturbances, for example, or grid events, or what we call contingencies? So that's grid reliability.
Okay. What message do you have for the staff of TCN?
I want to urge the TCN staff generally, engineers and non-engineers alike, to cooperate with the executive management team. And, because our focus, we should all be focused on the mission of TCN to transmit electricity in the most efficient and effective manner. So we should work towards our mission. That's the mission of TCN. So I guess we can work together to be on the same line.
That was the Executive Director, Independent System Operation, ISO at the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, Engineer Nafisat Ali. She spoke about the complexities of operating the national electricity grid and how TCN has been on top of the vast transmission system of Nigeria. Always keep a date with the Power Circuit for more in-depth interview sections. The series on the Executive Directors of TCN continues next week. Please continue to do your best in guarding against vandalism of power transmission lines, towers and substations in your locality. The management of TCN is working round the clock to always improve on bulk power evacuation for national development. Thank you for your time with the Power Circuit. Amara Gugesi says bye for now.